This is Bouhairie reporting from the USA for Pep Talk UK. For those of you who have missed the fight, Adonis Stevenson and Badou Jack fought to a majority draw. Two judges had it even, 114-114. One judge had Jack winning 115-113. I think majority draw was a fair decision. Good close fight. We saw Stevenson start out strong, really throwing a lot of punches. Jack was a little tentative, seemed to be wary of Stevenson's power, and rightfully so, and really didn't get going until the middle rounds. I thought Adonis may have won the 4 out of the first 5 rounds, maybe 5 out of the first 6, depending on how you look at it, you know. But one thing that Jack did do was go to the body well. However, Stevenson went to the body a lot, too, and I thought both of those things showed up later in the fight. In the 7th round, Jack really turned it around, started landing some big rights upstairs, started busting Stevenson up, and you could see Stevenson fatiguing as the fight continued to progress. Getting to the 8th, the 9th, Jack continued to work the body, continued to land big rights upstairs, and control the action, sort of muscle and bully Stevenson around the ring. Stevenson did a lot of holding in this fight. Jack's punches strayed low as well, and he received a warning from the referee about that. 9th round, he had a pretty big 9th round. I believe after that round, he walked to his corner, sort of pumped his fist in the air. It looked like Badou Jack was in complete control and might actually stop Adonis Stevenson. But in the 10th round, Stevenson landed a big straight left to the solar plexus that doubled Jack over and had him backpedaling. Stevenson was following around the ring, landing big shots. Landed, I think, another left to the kidney that seemed, or to the liver, I should say, that seemed to hurt Jack. And so Stevenson won the 10th round with that rally, and it looked like he might be on the verge of stopping Jack. And then in the 11th, Stevenson started off strong again, but Jack rallied in the second half of the round. Took control, seemed to hurt Stevenson with the right hand and straight right to the solar plexus. Landed some good shots, and in the final round, it was all Jack pretty much. You know, Stevenson holding on while Jack basically punching and punching and punching. I think that Jack's lack of power may have hurt him in this fight. He's a good puncher, but not a big puncher, and he probably needed that. Stevenson showed a bit of his age, I thought, and a few things were exposed. We haven't seen him go 12 rounds in a while, haven't really seen him tested, but he did show some grit, showed some heart when he was in trouble late, and, you know, I think gave a strong account of himself. In the end, however, I believe that, in my humble opinion, I thought that Jack may have nicked it, but I have no problem with the decision whatsoever. I thought both of those guys fought their heart out, and it was a really good fight. Good action fight, lots of back and forth, and a tale of two halves, you could start to say. And also for those of you who missed the first half of this Showtime event, Gary Russell Jr. and Joseph Jojo Diaz put on what has got to be the fight of the year. We saw Diaz worked Russell's body throughout the fight consistently, perhaps not enough to win the decision. Russell won a unanimous decision. One judge had a 116-112. The other two had it way too wide, 117-111. But great fight. Really pushed Russell, who boxed well, I thought moved well, and had to fire a lot to keep this young bull off of him. Props to Joseph Diaz Jr. I think he's going to be trouble for a lot of fighters in that division. I'd like to see Russell test himself against a Frampton or Santa Cruz, or the winner of that fight. Maybe Josh Warrington, or perhaps move to 130 and take on a Gervonta Davis. I think that'd be a good fight as well if he's unable to land a unification fight at 126. Circling back to Jack and Stevenson, obviously based on what happened tonight, I think a rematch is in order, and I expect Jack to look a little better in the rematch. However, Adonis Stevenson is really dangerous. That left-hand power is for real, and you have to be careful in the early rounds. And that's what happened in this fight to Jack. And it'll probably be the same thing again in a rematch where he's got to watch out and take his time. Stevenson really set a pretty fast pace in this fight, and then he slowed down tremendously over the last 6 rounds or so. So perhaps in that rematch he can pace himself. But regardless, the only thing we can see for these guys in their future going forward is a rematch. I think 175 division is pretty hot right now. You have Sergey Kovalev fighting Leader Alvarez in August. Now, if Alvarez is able to pull off the upset, which don't be surprised if that happens. Alvarez is a pretty good boxer, not the biggest puncher, but solid power and a really good boxer. He's taken some good shots too. I don't know if he can take Kovalev's, but I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled that one off. And if he is able to pull that off, I don't be surprised if he fights the winner of the Badou Jack and Adonis Stevenson match. I think that's a fight that's feasible given the relationship that the promoters have. Yvonne Michel, who promotes Adonis Stevenson, also promotes Alvarez, and so those kind of fights could potentially happen. Of course, that said, Alvarez was supposed to have fought Stevenson many times before and is probably a millionaire just in step-aside fees alone. So who knows? But altogether, I think best card of the year so far that we've seen on TV. Once again, Showtime doing an excellent job. And all the fighters, winners and losers. So, again, just signing off for Pep Talk UK. And for those that don't know, you can check me out on my Twitter, K Bouhairie, that's KBOUHAIRIE. Box Africa for Boxing Africa, boxingafrica.com, or check out my work on Boxing News Magazine and Premier Boxing Champions website.